With episode 18 of Nothing But Net, we're bringing you live. Well, it's live in your home, but it's right now for us. It's alive. It's happening right now as we record it.
I don't know how to explain this to you guys, but I am actually sitting opposite Adam Posty himself. I am in his room. I am speaking into a microphone. The microphone cover is covered in pasta bits and tomato and pesto pasta.
Pomodoro
pasta pasty, just like the mama used to make. And it actually is from my lunch. I used the microphone cover as a sort of a plate, and I just didn't have fork and knife, so I just ate it like a cat or a dog from a bowl.
That's fair. I mean, that's how you eat. That's how we eat in the podcast circuit. You know, if you're a top recorder like us, you don't have time for knives and forks. Steel, cutlery, silverware, get it out. Just
knives, forks, steel, time. Eat, plate, hands, free. And that's the best bit of advice you're ever going to get. Speaking of advice, Adam.
Yeah.
This is a bit of a special episode. Throughout the time that we've been doing this podcast, we've built up this loyal fan base of basically incompetent people.
Really incompetent people.
People who are incapable of just getting through life on a day-to-day basis.
Incapable of life, love, incapable of
happiness.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and they keep coming to us and saying, Ross, how do I open my tin of beans? And that's just Danny.
That's just Danny.
So to try and assuage some of the difficulties facing our listeners, particularly Danny, we thought that we'd have a sort of text in, email in advice episode where probably two of the most successful people I know, i.e. Id est me, id est Adam, would be able to hand out life advice and just try and get you guys over the hill.
Yeah, over that hump.
Every day's hump day.
Get over the hill, and you're king of the hill. Stay on top of the hill.
Yeah, don't get over the hill. Go halfway up, going over, and stick around. Because that's when you're king of the hill, my friend. You better get that fire off my... Finish the sentence, Adam.
Son, Peggy.
Yeah, there you go. That's a classic quote from the show. King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
And before we get into it, Adam, this is a very personal, private question, but could you just rank for me your top 3 favorite shows from the following 3 shows? Mm-hmm. King of the Hill.
Yeah.
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
My Family Guy.
Okay, it's got to be at number 3, My Family Guy.
Interesting.
Because Peter's funny, but he's fat.
There's the understatement of the century.
Yeah, Peter's got a good joke, a joke or two in him, but he's too big. He's too hefty for me to really connect with him. So Homer, second.
Okay.
Number 2 in The Simpsons because Homer is middle fat. Mm-hmm. That's what I like to call The Simpsons. It's the middle fat between Hank of the Hill and Family Guy.
Yeah, P-tier, yeah.
Yeah, and number 1 is King of the
Hank
of the Hill.
Because Hank, you always see in the show, is doing crunches. He's doing weighted abdominal dips.
Yeah.
And he's really, he's got that 6-pack. And I'm not just talking about the beer that him and his friends are invariably drinking.
Yeah, they're always drinking beer, but he's working it off every day on that propane girl.
They're all always drinking beer.
Yeah.
So you got your propane abs, all the way down to your Peter Griffin, pardon the term, but flabs. Yeah. And that's very interesting because even though they all drink beer.
Yeah, they do all drink beer.
That your fire alarm going off?
It is. It's the fire alarm, which means that it's probably the alarm to say it's a good time to start on all of our advice columns.
Start getting in that advice and just try not to get on fire. There is a small billow of smoke coming up from under Adam's door, but just ignore it.
Yeah, and that's probably advice number 1. I mean, it's not to a texter, it's not to a person who's texted in or messaged in, but just ignore flames.
That's general advice. Flames they're more scared of you than you are of them.
Yeah.
Is my advice about fire. Don't be sitting around calling 999.
Yeah.
Because that just makes the fire irate.
That makes the fire ire.
Yeah.
Higher.
Ire fire.
Irate. That fire's irate.
Yeah.
Is what you always say.
But don't do it.
No.
Ignore the fire. Just let it pass. There's no smoke without a fire, but there's no fire without you giving it loads of attention.
Exactly. So, do you want to start us off? Have you got a message from one of our
readers?
Absolutely.
Hang on, let me just flip over. Excuse me. Let me just flip over my laptop. That's my new Acer T312123.
Is that T3?
It's got megabytes that can only be described as high. It's got a one-color display. The color is white, so it's really just a solid white block of color, and then I can sort of scratch messages in with a by row.
Ah, right, okay.
So here's our first message, and this message comes to us from, well, the aforementioned Danny.
Okay.
He writes, and this is via email from littleboydanny99 at gmail.flip, and he writes, Dear Adam and Ross, big fan of the show, long-time listener, first-time emailer. My hands aren't the right size for my body. How do I get bigger hands? Thank you very much, Adam. I mean, he's signed off with your name, which is unusual.
Is he thanking me, or is he just mistaken himself for me?
I think probably what's happened is he's thanking you.
Okay.
But he's just formatted it weird.
I assume
thank you very much, Adam.
He's addressing it to me because I also deal with a body part that's much too big for the rest of me. And that's right. I'm talking about my head.
Mm.
And
but his hands are much too small, I think, was this point.
Yeah, but it's a different size.
Right, it's the wrong size.
It's the wrong size.
Improper,
I mean, I don't think... Well, that's the first thing, Danny. Advice for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if my head is the wrong size.
Wow, so it's a mindset thing.
It really is. I mean, for me, it's definitely a mindset thing, because my mind is set on having a big head.
George Harrison.
He always said that. And it's a quote that I've taken. And I could say attributed to myself. So it's mine now.
Yes.
So Danny, my advice to you is use your little hands to get on your keyboard and type out inspirational quotes. Find a good inspirational quote from a popular figure, MLK, Rosa Parks, probably Oprah, and just use that and just take it. Have it as your own. That's your quote now. And every time you look at your hands, think of, the greatest adventure you can lead is to live the life of your dreams. And you go, okay, the life of my dreams.
I have a dream.
Yeah.
MLK, I have a dream. In the dream, I had normal-sized hands.
Yeah.
That was a nice dream.
And Rosa Parks dreamt about sitting at the front of a bus. I think. So I think that was her whole quote.
Well, she said it in the third person.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I mean...
yeah. I know I could just chime in. I know that the question was specifically aimed at Adam in this instance, Danny, but if I could just chime in, why don't you strap magnifying glasses to your wrists?
Now that's a practical solution.
And then exactly. Adam's coming in with a deep philosophy and a sort of love thyself, and I will begin a lifelong romance, which is, I believe, Oscar Wilde quote. I'm coming in with, no, your hands are much too small. You got to trick people.
Yeah, that's probably...
And the way to do that is to just, as I say, put comically large magnifying glasses just a few feet away from your hands, and then that way anyone looking from across the street will go, gee, blimey, look at the size of those hands.
You could.
But not in the normal way.
There's 100 things you could do with that. I mean, if we're talking practical solutions, wear big mittens.
Oh yeah, shrink your wrists and arms.
Just
lose
shrink
weight
down.
From your arms.
Crouch down and people think you're smaller than you are.
Yeah, stand far away from everyone and put your hands behind your back.
Yeah. Chop your hands off.
Yeah, no hands is better than none small hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, or get saw off two stop signs from the road, stick them up your sleeves, and then you got stop signs for hands. And it'll be very easy to get taxis.
Yeah, you can stop a taxi at any moment. It will be difficult to pay for the taxi, but...
Yes.
That's the price you pay for having big hands, Danny.
Big stop signs. I guess what you could do is you could sort of blue tack £5 notes to the stop signs. And then when you finish paying your fare, you just go, and just sort of stick the stop sign towards the driver and he has to pick them off.
Sort of smash the glass between you and the taxi driver.
Yeah, exactly. And then...
maybe get an Uber.
Yeah,
but
maybe
then there's
get
the
an
problem
Uber.
of he already knows to stop for Danny. Because Danny will mash with his stop hands. I'm the boy with the big stop hands.
But that might be actually a positive thing for work, because he could probably get a pretty good job at Potato Factory or has a stop sign.
Mostly probably as a stop sign.
As two stop signs, he could get double time.
Yeah, he could be like a 4-way intersection.
Yeah,
all by himself.
So look, this morning you woke up, you tried to turn your alarm clock off, but you couldn't because your hands were too small to hit the snooze button. Now the world is totally different for you, Danny, because there's a whole career opening up because of Adam and I. So that's just an example of the kind of advice, the life-changing advice that we can give to anyone. And we are taking live, we're taking live texts in as we go. We've sent out messages on Facebook and Google and Twitter.
Mostly Bebo.
Some sort of slightly seedy sex chat rooms as well. Just saying, if you've got any questions or confusions, give us a text, give us an email, and we'll see if we can sort them out.
And we're doing it live.
And this is live for us. I can really actually see Adam moving his lips.
Yeah.
And then the sounds that you're now picking up on with your ears, I'm getting visual feedback.
Yeah.
As live.
And that's something you only really get when you are the person recording the podcast. When you're listening to the podcast, it's mostly audio. Almost entirely. There might be a picture.
There's a picture, yeah.
You might be walking down the street. Yeah, but
you can't be looking at okay, so you're in Paris with your new wife, and you're looking at La Rue Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a house or hotel. You think that's really going to be as funny as Adam making faces when he says words?
It's not. I can guarantee you, your wife is a bore compared to me.
Or even the buildings, Buildings can be pretty...
Your wife is a building compared to me.
Your wife is building bridges to try and save your marriage, but she's not Adam, so you're never really going to be satisfied, Danny.
Yeah, sorry.
Looks
like you better stop.
Yeah, it's a sign.
Stop having those little hands.
Stop having such little hands.
You know what,
Divorce
Danny,
your wife. Marry Adam.
I take back my earlier advice about coming to terms with it. Just stop having little hands.
Yeah, I think, there's this subject I've been reading about online that if you work very hard, you can induce a second puberty to make up for your old mistakes. And it's about having the right... I know you talked about attitude and philosophy. It is about attitude. It's about having a never say die attitude to say, I need to force my body to go into
through a second change,
overdrive again, because this is not done. I've not finished my work.
I've not finished growing.
I'm not a fully grown man yet, so I need to really force my body into overdrive part 2.
Yeah. Careful, because you could end up with too large hands, which is really a problem in and of itself.
It is if you're trying to open a very delicate letter from the past.
Yeah.
And you tear it. And then the National History Museum will be furious.
Or if you're trying to clap at your favorite concert, you're at your Ariana Grande, you're at your probably
Chipmunk.
Demi Lovato, you're at your Alvin,
yeah,
you're at your Simon, you're at your Theodore, and you try to clap. You're gonna cause a sonic reverberation that kills.
And the force of those sound waves really is gonna, at the very least, destroy Ariana Grande's amps.
Yeah.
And then the concert's over before you even got to hear her favourite song.
And when you're at Chipmunks, it's probably just going to kill Theodore.
Yeah, Theodore's got the most pussy ears for sure.
Theodore is definitely the weakest chipmunk.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. If it was like top trumps, and then the trump that you were doing was like thug attitude and toughness.
If it's the top 3, Theodore's Family Guy, Simon is definitely a Simpsons, and Alvin is King of the Hill.
Alvin definitely is King of the Hill, and then... probably John and Garfield coming up the rear.
Oh yeah, John and Garfield are always coming up the rear.
That's actually probably like a good idea for a sort of saucy body comic strip, like for like a scandalous birthday card or something,
or like Viz.
And it could be like John's always coming up the rear, and it's like John, the beloved cartoon character John, with his digit like as his penis, and the cat's
anus,
anus, and it's John's always coming up the rear.
And Garfield's thinking Mondays.
I hate Mondays, and the second joke is it implies that he does this every Monday.
Yeah.
So it's gross.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse than cat abuse is bad enough, but habitual cat abuse, that's much worse.
Yeah, it's unforgivable.
Yeah, and that's why Garfield hates Mondays.
Fool me once, shame on me.
So thanks for your message, Danny.
Fool me twice, shame on me. Fuck a cat, shame on John.
Always shame on John.
Yeah. Shame on John.
Shame on John.
I think that's like a French phrase. Shame on John.
Yeah. Yeah.
He eats. That probably means or something like that. I don't know.
I thought it was the French word for bestiality.
Chez
mangeant.
Chez mangeant.
I don't know why they'd say it so like,
Because they're French.
Chez mangeant.
Chez mangeant.
That's
the
what they
French
say.
are very erotic peoples.
When they come and read Viz, they go, Chez mangeant.
Chez mangeant, c'est bon. Les chats noirs.
Yeah, c'est bon, chez mangeant.
Très bien. Those French, man.
Thanks
Probably
for all
Europe's kinkiest race.
Probably.
If I had to guess.
Germans.
The Germans are an interesting folk, aren't they?
I think they're a much more closeted kink. But I feel like if we were to unravel the kinks of every German person, they would rival or even beat France.
That's an interesting contention. I always think of that country, Deutschland, as so embarrassing because the name of it, Germany, is sort of like germs on me.
Yeah.
Which is horrible.
It's gross. And who knows? Maybe that's the closeted fetish of Merkel.
Put your germs on me, Merkel.
Yeah.
Gross, disgusting. Anyway, we're not here to talk about politics. I'm sorry for getting so sort of high-minded and satirical there. We weren't trying to exclude people, but Adam and I are just very typical New Yorker readers.
Yeah, sometimes we'll go off on a tangent and you'll be like, what?
Sometimes Adam will go off on a tangent when he's doing one of his rants about Italian men.
Yeah, I'll get real mad at a tangent.
Yeah, you really, Dale Winton you're not a fan of.
No. I'm not a big fan of the name Dale in general.
Oh, no.
Because
it sounds like day old.
Yeah, I think it's just a weak name.
I think if the worst thing for you would be if someone was called Dale, he was Italian and his surname was Pasta. Perhaps a child or relation of Mama Pasta. And then it would be like Dale Pasta. Day old pasta.
And there's nothing I hate more than Dale pasta because my pasta's got to be fresh. Fresh as the day it was born.
Fresh as the morning daisy.
Yeah.
Which obviously takes months to come about, but you get the idea. It's a metaphor.
Well, that pasta takes a while to cook and make, but that pasta's so good.
Oh yeah, and I do eat daisies straight from the field.
Yeah.
And that's not supposed to happen, and it is very bad for me, but boy does my chin glow yellow. I bet you it does.
You haven't checked, but...
No, but I have faith.
I'm absolutely sure it does.
It's a system. I'm working towards it, and I have faith in the system, so yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, Adam, why don't you take the next, text or email, you tell me.
Okay. Well, I've been looking at a little email. I got this on my, Ross is using an Acer. Mm-hmm. I'm using what they call a DOS box, which is a box for DOSers like me. So, I've got an email from, what's his name here? This is from Tarkin.
Ah.
He says, Dear Adam and Ross, I'm a huge fan of the podcast. I am 8 years old, and when you say naughty words, it makes me laugh.
Uh-oh.
Despite my joy, my mummy and daddy don't get along. They argue, and they punch each other in the head at night. I can hear them scream through my wall. What do I do to get my mummy and daddy back together? And, will I ever be happy?
Well, first of all, thanks for being such a listener, Tarquin.
Yeah.
It is very nice to meet someone who's got such a sophisticated sense of humor at such a young age, because, the way that Adam and I communicate is somewhat collegiate.
Yeah.
So you're clearly ahead of the game, and if I may quote Oscar Wilde again, to be precocious is to be perfect.
Yeah.
So congratulations on perfection, my young ward. I would say give up on mum and dad. They are a lost cause once you're at punching in the head stage. Unless you're Muhammad Ali, the relationship's probably not going to work. Haha. So my advice would be, next time your parents are out, get into the bathroom, get some grout, grouting material, and then just smear it over your wall enough times so that you build up a thicker wall. And that'll probably sound, obviously you'll end up with a much tinier room, but that's going to soundproof a lot of the argument.
But he's only 8, so... You don't need much room.
That much space. And obviously, if you could do the opposite of a Danny, really, and actually will your body not to go into puberty, then that small room will probably do you good. And then the second thing I would say is, just for being such a pal and a listener, I know that you like the saucy words, the silly words, so here's a little thing for you. It's a poem I wrote. Here we go. This is a poem called Going to the Toilet. I went to the toilet to go for a poo. Me? You? I went for a wee. You? Me? I went to the toilet. I did a shit. I did a piss. I did 2 shits. I did diarrhea and then pissed on it. These are why I go to the toilet.
Well, Tarquin, I hope you're pleased with that poem. And to reiterate Ross's advice, to reiterate Ross's advice, just don't think about it.
No.
Just close your eyes, count to 10, and think, oh boy, I can't wait to hear my favorite podcast again. And then,
good poem.
Yeah, you got poems from both of us. Mine didn't swear, but
yeah, it's called appealing to your audience. Tarquin said that he likes funny words, so he's a man after my own heart, because for me the funniest thing is to imagine, I don't know, probably a clown who's pooed his bum and he's got a willy for a nose.
Oh, right, okay.
And you can just imagine, I mean, I'm having a hard time holding it together just thinking about that, because maybe he's got like a wee hat.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
Or he's got like fart breath. And it's jokes like that are the true old jokes that never die.
There really is. I mean, I remember seeing that on wood carvings, the willy-nosed fart-breathed clown.
Yes, ancient cave paintings in the Mesopotamian era in what is now Iraq.
Yeah.
The cradle of civilization. All those cave paintings are just lewd jokes about sort of fart clowns and poo breath and it's good stuff.
It is. So, Tarquin, just,
You're showing a lot of promise, kid.
Yeah.
If you're listening to high-minded, if I may say so, fairly sophisticated podcasts like this one, which are very inspired by Ovid and other great wood paintings and poems, then you're well on your way.
Yeah.
But your parents, I think, are goners from a romantic perspective. But it's none of your business as well. I don't want to give you a hard time because you're only young, but just keep your stub-nosed little face out of it. Fuck off and leave your parents alone and just do your own shit.
Yeah. Grow out your wall and just, grow up.
Leave home, by the way.
Yeah.
Run away. 8-year-old is old enough.
Don't grow up because you'll have to grow out your wall and you'll live in a small room. But just learn to be a small man and deal with it.
Beat your panic, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I've heard of loads of stories of kids who've willed themselves hard enough to just become midget adults.
Yeah.
And that's just what most midgets are.
That's how it happens.
So, easy
they are
peasy.
Astonishing displays of willpower.
Yeah, and then you can be any number of dwarfs, any number of pantos. So, there you go, career sorted. That's now Danny and Tarquin, whose careers, not just we've helped them with their advice, we've fixed their career. We're like LinkedIn on crack, you and me.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Well, I'd agree. I'd agree with you.
Linked up, link us. Get out the door, LinkedIn.
Yeah,
no good.
Get LinkedIn out of the window. Get Nuthin But Nim.
Download this podcast
on your computer, and you'll probably just immediately become a businessman.
Yeah. I'm wearing a tie. Every day of the week since I started doing this podcast. Hey, it's all about acumen, baby.
Yeah, just. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have, is another advice.
Great advice. Oh, we could just give some generic advice before we go to the next email. So here's Ross and Adam's top 10 life tips. Number 1 is dress for the job you want, not the job you want. Number 2, I would say look after the pennies.
Yeah. Look after the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves.
Easy, baby.
Yeah.
Number 3,
look both ways crossing the street. Just life advice.
Safety conscious. Yeah.
Because who's gonna watch your pennies when you're dead?
That's true.
Nobody.
Yeah, bloody inland revenue, probably, motherfuckers.
Yeah, probably.
Number 4 would be buy a guitar, learn to shred guitar, because you get the money for nothing, get the kicks for free.
Yeah, and it's a real chick magnet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if you're a chick, just learn to play the guitar, chickie, and learn how to be a cool rocker.
Oh, rock chicks, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, guys love a good rock chick, girls love a good rock guy. Have a good time, learn to play the guitar.
I got one of these new ones, these 6 strings. Yes, and you can strum all the way from a D to an A, and it makes this sort of plucky sound.
Yeah,
I'm trying to teach myself a happy birthday.
Right. Okay.
but it's really difficult.
I'm a purist. 3 strings or bust.
Yep.
And I learned to shred because I must.
Yeah, Born to Shred, Live to Breathe.
Which is a lyric off the album that I will be releasing, and I will be plugging it on this when it releases, probably in about 6 or 8 months.
Okay, sick.
Just called Rock On.
My guitar is called Sheba, and yeah, it's a girl, and it's really actually literally my girlfriend. And it's just a 6-string girl, very curvy in all the right places, very loud when I plug her into my amp. Also a girl called Queen. And they go well together, but not as well as they go me.
I would.
It's a threesome, baby.
Yeah, my favorite thing is when I pick up my guitar and I catch a little glimpse of a G string.
Oh yeah. I take my guitar out to an Italian restaurant and I play the Fender Stratocaster in my Italian.
Yeah.
I get spaghetti bolognese for me, and she just has a little. She just has a little dessert, baby, because she's so sweet.
Me and Rumpus, my guitar, we like to just stay in, and I just practice giving her practice my major fingerings.
Yes, well, me and Sheba get together. It's definitely sweet music.
Yeah,
and it's definitely my guitar and me in the bathroom.
I'm gonna make my guitar gently weep.
Yeah.
So that's advice number 4.
My amps. As a girl. I'm definitely doing it with my guitar and my amp. No. Nah, that's sick, man. That's fucking cool.
That's fucking sick.
That's
man.
fucking sick shit, man. Yeah. Number 5 would probably be just invest in equities across a wide variety of industries, just to kind of spread your risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be overexposed.
And number 6, watch that Dow Jones.
Yeah, you got to keep an eye on Dow. It's a strong index. I do Dow 250. Dow 100 will give you a pretty good idea. But some of those mid-cap stocks are important.
They really are.
Yeah.
And the most important thing I think really is I mean, as you're sort of maturing, I'd say, you know, you can afford to kind of mess around a little bit in your early 20s, but as you're nearing your 30s, it's really important that you build a strong portfolio.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
Yeah.
And you're gonna want to, when you're younger and you're more willing to be exposed to risk, absolutely, you want to be heavy on the equities. That's absolutely fine. I expect that.
Yeah.
And yeah, tech's great.
Don't be afraid to fall. Don't be afraid to flounder for a little while, because that is how you find your feet.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get into the bonds. The older you get, you want to, you know, diversify into bonds, because you're looking to kind of just secure your investment as you move towards retirement age.
Yeah.
Number 8 would be, yes, folks, believe it or not, we are still investing in Amazon if we can afford to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a sound investment. That place is going from strength to strength, really.
Yeah.
It's not really, you know, you're not going to see huge returns because...
Hey, it's not going to jump up 2,000% Bitcoin style.
No, but...
You telling me those web services aren't going to be a sound investment for years to come? They own the friggin' internet, baby.
Exactly.
Those servers go down, Reddit goes down.
Yeah.
Not cloning.
So, just, you know, invest wisely, as I'd say 7 and 8.
Yeah.
Number 9 is...
my favorite Beatles song.
Yeah. Probably just to go with your cool guitar, pick up a cool motorbike around about 45.
Oh, yeah.
You're wanting a Harley Davidson, you're wanting Yamaha, you're wanting a nice, sleek, maybe a Blue L, maybe something that can go quick, but not too quick, so you can ride in your hog through the streets and get a good look from a girl.
Number 9, can I also add motorbikes are really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And number 10, don't buy Tau, buy Space Marines, because even though they're newer, they're worse.
Yeah.
Space Marines still cool. Tau are lame.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Necrons either.
Okay, same. Yeah, buy Space Marines, it's obvious. You can do the Chaos Space Marines if you're a badass, but you could just do normal blue ones if you're normal.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's advice for your life.
Yeah.
To no one in particular, to everyone in particular.
Tarquin, the Dannies, our future...
Daddies of this world could really take notes.
Yeah, our future advice to anybody else that calls in, just, you know, add that on top of the specific advice we give you, just as a little...
That's
just
sort of
general
tips,
health
and well-being booster, yeah. I got some good advice recently. I worked out that I've been calling it Han instead of ham. My whole life.
Okay.
So I just in the last month, I feel like I've come on leaps and bounds because I'm now going in the butcher and asking for Han and getting it right for once.
Yeah. And when you say I'll have a ham sandwich.
I used to say I'll have a ham sandwich. And they say it wrong.
You can eat that. You can eat that solo. That's what they say.
I never know what they meant because I've not seen Star Wars, and I also didn't know that I was saying the meat wrong.
Mm-hmm. I just assumed. Well, you just assumed.
Yeah.
Han Solo was named after the meat.
I just thought all butchers had a sick sense of humor, and I wasn't in on the joke. And it is bullying to make jokes that people don't understand.
It is.
But I guess I just had it wrong. You know, sometimes you just don't know words.
Sometimes Han's ham.
I know words letters M and M are very similar.
They're right next to each other.
Yeah.
LMNMOP.
That would actually be a very interesting idea that the government could look at, which would be putting a little bit of distance between those guys because they are too similar.
Yeah.
So instead of the classic A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, and Z, I would suggest something like A, B, M, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L,
N,
O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y.
Yeah.
And we're getting rid of Z as well because it's useless.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Z is just an N on its side. So just take the N and flip it round.
So get used to it, folks. It's now A, B, M, C, etc. Don't do the Z and don't do the another M.
No.
Because it would be madness to go A, B, M, C, D, E, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P because you already had M.
Yeah.
No, 2 M's.
And that would be a great time saver for me. Because what I could say is, you know, people say, how do you spell your name?
Yeah.
I could just say first 5 letters of the alphabet, take out the B, C, double the A.
Yeah, easy.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Whereas now I have to be like, you know, it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M.
Yeah.
And take out A, D, and M, and then double the A. And it's complex.
I wonder if if they did that though, would people get lazy? Who used to have M and N's next to right next to each other when they're sort of typing in their name online or something. So, for example, the U.S. politician from Utah, Mitt Romney, would he maybe just change his name to Mitt Romney?
Mitt Romney.
Just so he could just go N-N-E-Y.
Yeah.
Instead of going, because now M and N are miles apart on the keyboard.
I think he'd get even lazier and it'd be Nit Noni.
Just be Nit Noni, yeah.
Yeah. Or, you know, if someone's called like Minar or Nimaz.
Yeah, like the current presidential elect Minar Opaz.
Yeah, or, you know, Minwar. They're just going to be Ninar.
Yeah.
Or Ninar No.
Well, just like a normal name like Monin would just be like Nunin.
Nuni.
Or Momin.
Yeah. Or Momo. Because they can switch it for M's.
Yeah, if your name was Mono or Nomo, you could just, like, in that, you know, the book.
Yeah.
Instead of the Nostromo, it could just be the Momomo.
No Momo.
No Momo. No M's, no Mo.
No M's, no Mo for Nostromo.
No, you could just have, everyone could just be called Nim, and then there wouldn't be any confusion.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone was called Nim, no one wouldn't be.
How sweet would it be to just have to not worry about remembering people's names, and you're always like, you know, you meet someone at a party, and then you see them again, and they're like, oh, hi, Ross. And you go, hi, you. Horrible, awkward. It doesn't really happen
terrible.
Often. But everyone could just go, sup, Nim.
What's up, Nim?
And then it would be fine for everyone. Nim Nim.
Yeah, and they'd be like, oh, I was hanging out with Nim and Nim the other day, and Nim said the funniest thing about Nim's mum. Nim.
Yeah. I know people are
Sorry,
like, yeah,
Nim's,
but how would you
Nim's
know?
num.
Nim's num. But people would be like, how would you know what Nim they mean? Well, obvious, idiot. We invent technology so that you can just blink photos into people's heads.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
You blink photos of what you're thinking.
Exactly at the point where you say Nim, you just blink an idea into someone's head and then that person flashes up. And that it will be real in the next 2 to 3 years because of internet. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Elon, Nim Musk.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nim.
Thanks, Nim. It would be enough. And Adam is blinking at me, but obviously the technology doesn't exist yet. So.
Well, I'll spell it out for you. I'm thinking of the man currently named Elon Musk.
Okay. Well, obviously there'll be a transitional period where the old naming system is helpful until everyone adapts to the Nim system.
Yeah, the Nim blinks.
Nim blinks will replace names. That would be my prediction. This isn't a prediction episode. We've done that one, but this is predictions for probably 2023.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I'm thinking. Fully integrated. Yeah.
Yeah. Full integration comes 2023.
I'm thinking we'll see early adoption 2020.
I will begin to start calling everyone Nim today, and that's a solemn promise.
Yeah.
And even if no one else catches up for a year or so before it catches on,
well, you'll be an early adopter.
What's up, Nim?
Yeah. You just so welcome to the podcast, Nim and Nim.
Yeah, this is Nim podcast with Nim and Nim. And I'm blinking every time, trying to blink this into your head.
What we can eventually get with this technology is the eradication of every word but Nim. And just blink our thoughts.
With erratic blinking and then the word Nim.
Yeah.
Nim is a kind of placeholder just because that flow of conversation is important, isn't it? It's nice.
Yeah.
Nice to use your mouth.
It is. It's good.
Yeah. Nim, 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 nim.
And you'll see this.
Blinking.
You know, you'll go into McDonald's. Well, you go into Nim to make your Nim. And they'll say, you know, Nim, Nim. And you'll Nim, 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 Nim. And I am blinking every time I say Nim. And you'll get a hot cheeseburger with fries. A Nim. So, you know, you do have to say. You will have to say how many fries you want. So it will be each time an individual Nim.
No, we'll still have numbers. Nim, 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 18.
Nim,
nim, nim, nim, nim, nim, nim, nim, 3.
Okay. That makes things a bit
18
easier.
hot burgers and 3 hot fries. That'll just be an efficient way to live. From now on, and that will be the new way that life is.
Yeah, so get ready for Nim.
Keep an eye out for that.
Just keep an eye out.
If you see your other people start using it, then maybe it's time that you do too.
Yeah, just start nimming it up.
But you're at the forefront when you listen to this podcast. You get the news before other people are talking about it, and that's probably why you're listening.
Yeah, it's Nuthin But Nim.
Nothing but Nim. Got an edge. Nothing but Nim insight. Well, anyway, that's a little bit of a deviation from the episode, but hey, you know, it's helpful. Should we do a couple more?
Let's do a few more.
Help. I'll just get my phone. This is a text I got actually from one of our. Oh, I don't know if it's a long-term listener because it's anonymous.
Let's just call him Nim.
Let's just say it's Nim.
Yeah.
Nim's text in. Eventually that will be true, but I wouldn't know who to blink. And that's how anonymity will work in the era of Nim.
Non-Nim, is he?
Yeah, non-Nim.
Anonymous.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. That's pretty smart. Okay, so this text comes in from Nim, and it just says, how much internet weigh? So that, you know, this is a...
Is there a question mark?
Internet-related one. No, there isn't, but I think we can assume.
Is that weigh W-E-I-G-H, or is that weigh W-A-Y?
It's W-H-E-Y. As in the sort of protein.
How much internet weigh?
How much internet weigh? Probably quite a lot, because I think a lot of bodybuilders buy their bulking whey from the internet.
I know about 20 bodybuilders because I go to bodybuilding class. I stand there. I am not strong enough to lift the weights yet, but it's good to watch to get techniques. So they all kind of, I'd say I'm kind of a mascot of the team. You know, I give them towels. I give them hot water. I give them.
I do not appreciate that.
No, they're not fans. But in the sauna, I give them cold water, and they like that.
So that's
hot
good.
water in cold places, cold water in hot places.
Still,
and they all get their they go on Weigh Online, or they go on waster.com, or
Highway to Hell.
Yeah, Highway to Hell. And they, you know, they order tremendous quantities of whey, and I know because I am the one who has to pick it up and carry it for them.
Yes.
And I'd say it's heavier than the weights, but they don't tell me how heavy it is. But
yes, yeah.
So how much internet weigh? Heavier than weights.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I think that's a good succinct answer. Perfect. Okay,
Sweet.
Ask that answer. Do you got one for us, Adam? Do you
I'll just have a wee look here, see if we can get something.
We maybe open up the phone line, see if anyone calls.
Yeah, we haven't got any calls, unfortunately.
No calls. We didn't give out the number. It would have been odd if someone had worked it out, but you never know.
It would have been impressive.
Yeah.
But I am seeing a little a Bebo notification. We got a Bebo message from Hard Rocker 49, and
cool.
it's a personal question. It's not really a life question, so I don't know if we should answer this. Okay. But it says, "Hey boys," with a Z. Long time listener, first time fan. I've got a lot of attitude, and I've got a lot of what he says sparks. Okay. Now I've looked on his Bebo page, and what he says sparks is just it seems to be a placeholder for attitude.
So right, I see. He's sparks.
Yeah, like he's got a lot of sparks. He says, "What's your two boys? What's your top favorite rock albums?"
Well, that's very interesting. If, this isn't my usual style, but I'll admit this is an area that Adam knows more than me. He's a real rocker. He's got punk lip piercings, artificial lip piercings, just all the way up and down his mouth, and even up over his nostril. Yeah. So I'll let Adam feel this one. I think he's the rocker.
So
here.
It's got to be number one is Any Flag.
Okay.
It's got to be number 2, Anti-Flag. Number 3, probably Black Flag.
Oh yeah.
Number 4, probably got to be Bob Dylan.
Ah, yes, the old toad.
And number 5 is probably just Flags of Our Fathers, the soundtrack.
I don't really know any of the flag bands because I don't really listen to a lot of music. But what's your favorite? I do know of Bob Dylan because of from the adverts. What's your favorite Bob Dylan song?
It's got to be Don't Think Twice. It's all right.
It's all right. Yeah, my favorite Bob Dylan song is Don't Think Twice.
No,
it's all right.
Yeah, that's what people say. They say, "What's your favorite Bob Dylan song?" I say, "Well, I don't think twice."
It's both an answer and a review.
Yeah,
because Don't Think Twice. I mean, there's no. Well,
that's why Bobo is number 4.
Yeah, Bobo. Yeah,
he's not number 1.
He's not got a lot of songs.
No,
Bob Dylan. He's not got a lot of output. He's got that one song. He's got the Santa song.
Yeah, and he's got.
I wish we'd have heard more from Bob. Would be my criticism of Bob.
Yeah, I mean that's why he's number 4 of all artists in the world.
Yeah, I see that. For me, I mean, I know I'm coming at this from a lot less area of expertise, but number 1 for me would probably be Elton John.
Okay.
And it would probably be The Gutter Man, which is their secret album that he didn't really release.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2 would be probably Elton John with The Bedwetters.
Oh, okay. Which is the other album
he didn't release, but was very strongly mooted around 1970.
Yeah.
Number 3 would be BBC comedy sitcom theme tunes.
Okay. And that's the album you can get on Spotify where it's rearranged MIDI covers.
Yes. And it's only available on Spotify or on cassette tape. I have the latter. I know I'm an internet boy, but I love cassette tape too, because I love winding it back when it's broken with a pencil.
Yours used to run on cassette. My ZX Spectrum runs on cassette. My DOS box runs on a floppy disk, but it's close to a cassette.
A floppy disk is just a smooshed cassette.
Yeah.
Everyone. And I like that one because it's got Dad's Army on it, and it's Who Do You Think You're Kidding, Mr. Hitler? But obviously it's MIDI, so there's no lyrics.
It's more just like
It's not well done. I'd say MIDI is a fairly limited audio format, but they have not pushed it to its limits. Not even close.
Gosh, no.
This is a bad MIDI. But it's so nostalgic. You know, when you're listening to Going Straight, or you're listening to Only Fools and Horses, or you're listening to Dad's Army, it's those songs that bring back such an overwhelming sense of nostalgia. And that means a lot to me, particularly as I always saw myself as something of a Captain Pike, a Private Pike.
Really? Something of a pike?
Something of a stupid boy. You stupid boy!
I was always a Mannering.
Of course.
My online test.
My superior, my commanding officer, don't tell them your name Pike. One of the great jokes of all comedy time.
It is a top joke.
I love Dad's Army. I would see myself as something of a kind of a Godfrey, come Wilson, come Pike.
Okay.
So I've got probably Uncle / Corporal Wilson's Easy Noblesse Oblige. And I've got Godfrey's Incontinence down. That's Pat. I also like gardening, and I live with my elderly sister. And then but I've got the kind of youthful vivacity of a pike, and also I'm a stupid boy and I wear scarves all the time.
Well, I'm always a Mannering, but I've always wanted to be a cumpike. Just a Mannering, not just a cumpike, and then
and if we could just I know that we're a very high-minded podcast. It's sort of like listening to a kind of a youthful version of In Our Time, listening to Adam and I.
Yeah.
But just for our readers who are maybe not history buffs in the same way that Adam and I are, cumpikes were historical waypoints which in medieval society would be placed along roads throughout the British Isles so that weary knights could, to put it in their terminology, dispose off one's seed at socially agreeable
way stations.
Yeah. And these would just be sort of very crudely carved wooden busts of vaguely humanoid shape. And you can still find many of these throughout the British countryside.
Yeah.
Some still in use.
Yeah, you go for a walk, even in Bonnie, Scotland, where we're living. You go 3 to 40 to 50 miles north, and you'll run into a myriad of cumpikes.
Yes, in these days it's much more customary for young men and women to make love to one another and defile themselves with the sins of the flesh. But there are still some elderly and even some youthful practitioners of the old way, the cumpike way, yes, which was that one should not have sensual relations until marriage, but it would certainly be acceptable to plonk upon a wooden personage
because they don't have feelings; they're not real.
But
and what you can do is you can look at it and pretend.
Yes,
it's real.
It's certainly imagination can take you so far, but it is better to have a wooden craft to remind you of the sort of shape of a body. In the most generic terms
just
possible.
To give you an idea.
And also just to have somewhere for it to land, because otherwise it gets in the plants and whatnot.
Yeah.
Take off your dobbin and your buffat and your doughboy and all the old medieval clothings that some people still wear. Leash your kilt down, and then just have at it.
And your squire can look; he can look away. It's really up to the knight.
So ultimately, there's the French method wherein the squire looks upon it and sort of mediates, if you will.
And what you say is, before you begin your ablutions on the cumpike, you turn to your squire and you say, "Let's French."
And that's in the squire, the old French squire tradition.
Yeah.
In the what's now commonly known as the British Rite, or sometimes in the old Fife Rite, one squire would look away in disgust and sort of shrug their shoulders all the time and go, sort of like a Disney, like the sort of sidekick of a Disney
Well,
prince.
that's where they really got the idea for sort of LeFou or, Pleakley, the more feminine, sort of fey characters in Disney is from the old Fifers, right?
From the Fifers, right?
You know, there'd be a very, almost fey air to there. Even if your squire wasn't, if he was a very masculine man, he would put it on just for the Fifers, right?
Yeah, well, that would be ordinary, because in those instances, the squire is supposed to be assuming the role of the scorned wife.
Yeah.
From the old heraldic tradition, whereby when a husband and wife had fallen out, the male, the knight would take on a cumpike rather than have his wife that night, and he would drag her. In those cases, many hours by horseback to get to the nearest cumpike, and the wealthier the knight, the more cumpikes he'd have in his own land.
Yeah,
and that was just how they did it in those days. And next time it's on University Challenge, you'll be getting that point.
Yeah, next time it's on University Channel, on the University Channel, on the University Challenge.
Yeah.
You're watching it with your friends, you're having a couple beers, and you're thinking, let's watch some University Challenge. You scream out cumpike, loud as you can.
And it'll be Jeremy Paxman, and it'll go, okay, let's have another start at 10. What is a cumpike? Boxton Oriel College. And he'll go, a cumpike is a ancient waffling system for knights to come on wood. And that's points.
Yeah.
And that's points for Oriel College.
Formerly Oriel College, now known as the House of Nim.
House of Nim, yeah, which used to be Royal College, and then getting a classic victory over, I don't know, St Andrews or some such.
Yeah, probably St Andrews.
Probably St
now
Andrews.
known as Nim.
Nimbots.
Nimbots 1.
Nimbots 1. All the Scottish universities will be Nimbots 1 through 30.
Yeah.
And
those are the
good
only
old St
time...
Andrews getting in with number 1.
Yeah, that's the only time we ever will add a word to Nim, is when describing...
Scottish universities.
Scottish universities, yeah.
And that's a tip of the hat to the fact that Adam and I are from Scotland. And
earliest adopters of the Nim system.
Yeah, well, modern fathers of the Nim system, I would say. And of course, the original idea was, I believe, put upon by Petrarch.
Yeah, but they will have a statue of us, and it will be it'll say underneath.
Well, say statue, there'll be wooden follies and probably really cumpikes of a fashion.
Yeah, there'll be a nice.
They died doing what they loved.
There'll be a nice wooden cumpike of us in the center of Edinburgh, and it will read. What it will literally read is Nim 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 Nim. But what it will say is, here lies
2 old codgers.
2 old codgers, the fathers of Nim. Nim at the end, just for good
just
measure.
an actual Nim that means Nim, which is known as a quanti-Nim.
It's in quotes, so it's us saying Nim.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
much akin to the statues of Bill and Ted from Back to the Future. People will ejaculate on our statues.
You know what? That I would like to. That it's getting back to these old rites and these old ways that we used to do it. There's wisdom in the past, and you forget it at your folly.
Yeah,
and at your peril.
And I think
folly.
I think the cumpike, or what will colloquially be known as the Nim, will make a huge comeback. And Nims from all round, you know, I reckon we have the fringe, the Nim. I reckon people will come up for the summer Nim and just Nim themselves all over our statue.
Yes, and much to the chagrin of their squires, probably, because knowing the locality, most people around here are advocates of the Fifer's right.
Yeah.
And it's so important. I know there's a lot of pessimism around Brexit and the whole economy going up the wrong end, but one of the things that probably will be positive is a return to the sort of classic British druidic culture, which includes, of course, the great medieval Nim system.
Yeah.
And if it means everyone losing their job to get back to that, so be it.
Yeah.
So be it. If we all die eating onions, then Nim Nim to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I know I'm on the fringe.
Yeah. So that's our top rock albums.
Yeah, and I'm very proud of my choices. I think they're all strong.
Yeah. Meow. Meow.
And that's just a cat's noise. Dog goes woof. I know that much.
Yeah.
And I just learned cat goes meow. And I'm going to learn what pony does probably next week. If any luck.
Tune in, because you'll get to hear what pony does. I mean, I already know what cow goes, but I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I'm a few weeks behind Adam in the book that we've been sharing.
Well, I skipped ahead to cow and duck because I was going to the farm with my carer. So...
It's a real brain trust when me and Adam get together. It really is. We really do a lot of good ideas, and we're gonna get to the bottom of these animals.
We really are. So, just keep in touch. Stay tuned. Please don't text us or message us with what the animals go, because if you spoil the surprise, I'll kill myself.
McDonald, we're gonna come down on you.
Yeah.
With a raft of 1,000 Big Macs. But seriously,
1,018 Nims and 3 Nims.
But seriously, for real, if you make fun of us, Adam's cure will get really mad.
Yeah, they're not to be trifled with. Believe me, I learned that firsthand. If I act out of line, if I get even a little bit out of line, and I'm back down on the floor.
He just pushes you down on the floor.
Well, the equilibrium with my head is not great.
It's very easy to control.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, but
it's very easy to push over.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm a pushover.
You're literally a pushover, and so you should be.
Like a bobblehead.
Yeah, like a bobblehead.
But except instead of the head bobbling, I fall down.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fall down head.
That's well done. That's good thinking, being able to find your way around that. And well done, Adam. And we will hopefully raise enough money to get Adam a new head. But in the meantime, well done, everyone. Just for listening. So I think it's been a good episode. We've passed out some very helpful advice to a bunch of nice people.
To 3 people, 4 people.
Well, I think the generic advice bit in the middle would have been helpful to a billion people.
Yeah.
I think the advice to Danny will be helpful just to stop sign himself.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had Torqueen.
Yeah, we got Tarqueen. We had...
with any luck, is now an orphan on the run.
Fingers crossed, Tarqueen, you've taken this advice to heart. And
stop signs crossed, Torqueen is now a real Jude the Obscure.
Yeah.
Off on a walk around the country.
And Tarqueen's got his headphones in, he's listening to this podcast as he's on the run. He's immediately fled as soon as we've said so.
Mm-hmm. Good boy.
So, good work, Tarqueen. Maybe find yourself a cum bike and just have a little rest.
You're too young for that. You're only 8. So maybe just, you would probably still be in the traditional squire position and also prepubescent. And with any luck, you will never pubesce.
Why not go to a cum bike and practice getting huffy just for the future? Because you're never going to pubesce. So you'll always be a squire.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Go practice being huffy near an old He didn't say where he was, but I would suggest, by the way the email was written, Suffolk.
I assume so.
The kind of cum pike capital of the southeast.
And I'm assuming Tarqueen, you're young. You've got a smartphone. Just go on Google Maps, Google Earth, and just search in cum pikes near me.
Or even just to avoid searching that, just in case you're worried, just type in sites of historical and cultural interest.
Yeah, or
because that's what they mean.
You can search. Please Google Maps for cum pikes, but just use DuckDuckGo.
DuckDuckGo is quicker and faster, and also it's got word go in it. Oh, actually, so does Google. So
well, Big Google doesn't search you if you use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
So
okay, well, good advice, internet advice.
As we've stated, Ross doesn't know, but I know what the DuckDuckGo.
I've got no idea what DuckGo, but I can't wait to find out. I'm not going to Google it. I've got a book. I have to wait for Adam to give me it back. I think he may have lost it, and he's not told me yet, but we were going to deal with that off air.
Yep.
And yes, if you're wondering, that is a tone of madness in my voice. Adam looks scared, and he should. Ha ha ha.
I know what DuckDuckGo.
I have to go. I'm getting really mad.
You should have seen how proud my Kara was.
I just had a bead of blood pour down my forehead because I'm so mad. And Adam's Kara is just practicing his autograph over in the corner, but he looked up as if he knows that something's about to go down. I think that hopefully it means he's going to restrain Adam because he's been a bully.
Probably. Fingers crossed, guys.
Well, I'm going to go before I kick Adam's fucking dumb head in the ground and end up getting a murder charge. I've done it before, I'll do it again.
I'm going to go and read my book about animals.
Alright. Well,
I've written my name on the cover, so it's mine.
No, we said we would share it. Dog go woof, everyone, and that's all the animals we know. Bye.
Bye.